Welcome to She Says with your host, Stephanie Regalado. She Says guests share stories from their challenges to successes and, most importantly, the journey of womanhood woven alongside the collaboration of sisterhood. From self, love, friends and family, to hot topics, career, and worldviews, Stephanie and her guests discuss matters with utmost openness and honesty. So let's hear what she says. Here's Stephanie.
Good morning and welcome to, it is morning still.
It
It's
is.
10 a.m. Welcome to She Says. I'm Stephanie Regalado, your host, here with Sarah Carleton. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So you are running a couple shows, doing your own thing, Gather and Savor,
Yes.
and then Gather and Brunch, which I'm really excited to learn more about because I haven't been able to join one yet, but I've heard magnificent things, and I see the
Yay.
photos of this growing population of incredible women that are joining in
Yes.
for that. So let's start with Gather and Savor. How did
Okay.
this whole thing
The whole
even start
story.
in your life? Yes. How'd you get here?
I will do a nutshell because
Yes.
I'm a talker. So,
Yes, good.
So let's see. In late 2016, so it'll be 3 years later this year. So end of summer, kind of early fall. We were already foodies, and I was the one weird person at the restaurant taking pictures of my food.
Yeah.
And had a lot of pictures on my camera roll of food. And my sister actually came to visit, and she said, "Why don't you just start an Instagram account? See where this goes." And being an overthinker, I was like, I don't know. And she said, "Just start. You just have to start." So we started. I started. I remember my first post, and it was actually of a crab cake kind of toast situation from Dockside.
Oh, sounds yummy.
And it was very good. And from there, and I figured, family, friends, we'll just kind of get this started. And it took off. And I vividly remember just my first 30 followers and going, "Oh my gosh, people that I'm not related to are tuning in, and they
Right.
want to have, they want to know what I have to say about food and supporting local and highlighting restaurants and all of that." And so from there, it really took off in that 3 months time to the beginning of the year. And then so my name was actually Prodigious Eats at first because I'm a huge Jane Austen fan.
Okay.
But people just weren't really, they didn't understand the word. They didn't understand what it meant. And so kind of about the beginning of the year, I thought, let's just better to do, if we're going to rebrand, let's do it early on. Yeah. And so I spent about 6 weeks just really thinking and praying and thinking through and writing names of, what is this going to encompass with how it's grown? Yeah. Because at that point, I didn't really necessarily think, I want to turn this into a business, all that. It was just like, this is a passion I have. Let's start it. And because I'm usually the, measure 157 times, cut once. And it was like, raise your hand, say yes, just get in the commitment zone. Yeah. And so I decided to rebrand and or rename, and came up with the name Gather and Savor. And what I really kind of getting to my why, I really defined my why at that point, which was, food is this great equalizer. It brings people together. I mean, we could even speak different languages and commune and have a memory over food. Yeah. And so, the gathering of that, and then the savoring of not just food, but the memories too.
Right.
Again, this is all a very nutshell version, but and then from there, again, it just, even though food is the platform that I use, it's really about the people at the end of the day. Yeah. I always kind of joke that the food is the car that I get in to go meet all the wonderful people. And I have met amazing, wonderful people, men and women. I'm all about girl power, so I especially love the women. But anyway, so that's, again, the very nutshell version. And then from there, it's just grown, and it's really become this Gather and Savor community. And then so that May, after starting, so that next year, so I guess almost 2 years ago now, I started Gather and Brunch. And so I call it the spin-off show of Gather and Savor. And it was specifically for ladies. No boys allowed. Sorry, guys. Otherwise, it's very inclusive. And part of that was born actually out of myself wanting to be in some creative circles, but not really feeling that welcome. Mm-hmm. And just kind of, definitely some hurt from that, but also going, you know what? I have a heart for this. I can start a group and, welcome those women in that maybe are even feeling like they don't have a place to belong either. Is that okay that I'm segueing into that already?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
of course.
okay.
Yeah. No rules here.
Okay.
Except for no boys.
Right. Except for no boys. Sorry,
Which at an
boys.
event last night, someone was asking me if that was legal, that my show only allowed female guests.
Funny.
I was like,
funny. What did
private
you...
world,
right,
so I can do what I
right.
want. No one's
Yeah.
going to tell me who I can have on my show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Plus, they said they've had their words for hundreds of years.
Yes.
So let us have some words of our own.
Yes, it's a new age. Thank you very much. And actually, it's funny because a lot of the gals that come to Gather and Brunch, their husbands are like, we want to go.
Yes, yeah.
But anyway, so that came out of, again, just a heart to gather women together and just to feel like you're not going at it alone, because I feel like oftentimes in that creative space and just the entrepreneurial space, you can feel like maybe you're the only one having struggles, or it's just, working from home, there's so many benefits to it, but it can get lonely, and it can just kind of, you start to feel isolated. And so while it is a networking group, more at the foundation of Gather and Brunch, and I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, that kind of, separates it from a lot of the networking groups, is we're there first to build relationship and friendship and support and encourage one another. Yeah. Then if the collaborations and the connecting as far as businesses, if they grow out of that organically, then that's great. Yes. But I've really made sure to keep it, you know how they say which I know these words are so overused these days, but your vibe attracts your tribe. Yes. I very much have, that's in my heart. And so I have very much, kind of infused that into the group. And by doing that, it has attracted those type of women. They're not coming to leverage or kind of say, oh, if I get on your list, then it can somehow benefit me. Right. Again, mutually beneficial relationships, working relationships, I love that, but I don't want it to be something where people are coming and going, okay, how do I get to leverage and use this group?
Well, and I think a lot of the short-sightedness involved in that type of approach is that when you're coming together, if you're only coming together to meet those people and to sell to those people, you're missing this huge opportunity. Because the network is not just about you and I becoming connected, it's about our networks now being connected to one another, and how impactful and powerful that can be across the board.
Yes, and I always joke that Spokane is like 1.5 degrees of separation anyway. Yeah. I know you can only have a half, but again, it's a joke.
If you can have 2.5 children.
That is true. Yes, that is true. Spokane is such a, that said, it's such a just small community feel in a decent sized city, and I love that. And so there's a gal who has recently joined the group, and she kind of had heard about it in a different way, but then one of the gals in the group is her cousin, and I didn't even know that. Fun. And so it's just, and they really are just a wonderful group of, again, I remember listening to a Jenna Kutcher podcast probably about a year ago or so, and she was talking about just attracting and repelling. And I think so many of us think of repelling as a negative thing. It's a bad thing or whatever, but it needs to be a right fit, and not everyone's a right fit for this group, and not, and that's, again, kind of where it started from, because I just wasn't a right fit for some other groups. Right. And so it really is just, I would say it's a big-hearted group. Like, the women are just very genuine. What you see is what you get. There's just, I don't have a stomach for fake. Yes, yeah. I know you don't either. No. In fact, one of my favorite quotes is, life is too short for fake better and fake people. So got to tie food in there somewhere. Yes, yeah. And so actually a lady just came to our last gathering. She's been kind of watching for a long time, kind of like you, wanting to come, but just schedules never work out. And she said, it really is what you said it is. Like, these women really are just hardworking, genuine, wonderful women, and badasses. Yes. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, of course.
I figured.
We try not to say the F word, just I don't know why, because I'm trying not to say that.
I'm pretty mild in my I have little children, so but, and what I mean by that is they are very talented in their specific business field. We have everything from photographers to food bloggers to Diane Holm is in our group. Stylists. Yes. Interior designers. We have an Instant Pot queen in our midst.
I had no idea that there was an Instant Pot queen in Spokane.
Yes. And she just actually did a live class, and she's going to do more. Did you know that?
I was just seeing that.
Yeah. So women don't need to be afraid of blowing up their house by using their Instant Pot. Do you have one?
No. Should I have one? I keep hearing people say.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I'm gonna pop this bubble. It's still work. I feel like when right? No, don't you feel like there's almost this kind of like misconception? Well, I feel like it's a misconception. You buy an Instant Pot, you literally just throw the food in and push a button, and it magically appears on your table.
That's how I felt.
Okay, that's not true.
Oh, that's
I'm sorry, but I have to pop that.
Super unfortunate.
However, I do love the fact that the nutritional value is held much better. And let's just or winter squash, right? Like it takes an hour and a half to roast, or whatever in the oven. 7 minutes, and it's literally falling off.
That's insane.
Because it's the pressure. I don't know. We'll ask Jenny how.
So Jenny's the Instant Pot queen.
Yes, Instant Pot Creations.
I need to get her.
Shout out to Jenny.
Yeah, shout out to Jenny, because I saw she has 28,000 followers or something crazy, or more than that.
Yeah, and she has an ebook.
And an ebook.
Yes, I'm gonna have to tell her. I didn't even plan to shout her out, but she's gonna be so excited.
The coolest thing about this, and you say we're 1.5 degrees of separation, but it's so amazing how many people we still do not have a clue.
In our own town.
Here in our own town, who are doing extraordinary things. Yes. Or just living their lives in ways that you want to saddle up alongside them, because we're all in this together. Be connected. Mm-hmm. Yes, better together. That is actually I don't know if that's even a hashtag. It probably is, but that's kind of one of my mantras lately, is just better. It's true. We're better together. And one of my favorite, Cicero, he has a quote where he says, friendship, which again, the foundation of all of this is friendship first. Friendship divides the sorrow and doubles the joy. And I just feel like that's so true. I don't know if he has a quote about collaboration. Probably not. No. But anyways, so that's kind of the... So how many women came out to your first Gather and Brunch event? So it's grown. Yes. Gosh, that's a good question. So we had the very first one at Sante. Okay. Which I'm sad to see them go, but I'm also excited to see, what the rebranding will be. Mm-hmm. And that was, again, in the May of 2017. And I think we had 30 ladies there or something. So it was a really good turnout for just starting. Yes. And and so we have a group on Facebook. You're in that group. Yes. So I think we're at over 200 ladies in the group. So they get to kind of keep up on, I do the Motivation Monday and the Wahoo Wednesday. So Motivation Monday is I share a podcast, or I share a quote, or something that the ladies can kind of have a little discussion over if they want to. And then the Wahoo Wednesday is sharing a win, or even the other day we had a mom share her win that she shared, which I loved, was I only had 3 cups of coffee today, and I didn't have 5, and everyone jumped on. They're like, good. If that's what you were going for, that's awesome. That's a win. There's no win too small, whether it's, I've shared writing for the magazine is a win, or something as maybe seems insignificant but in your life, it's a win. So they can catch up with that and, keep up. But then the in-persons happen once a month. We don't have a schedule where it's the 3rd Thursday of the month. I'm a very concrete, sequential person, but when it comes to scheduling, I don't know. I like to have my freedom. Yes. I don't know. I don't want to be locked in. I feel the same way. Yeah. I'm so resistant to putting things on the calendar because I feel like, I can't fit anything in, but then I'll have a pocket of time where I'm like, I can fit something in now. Yes. And I'll try to pull it together. And you don't want to have that standing date because you're like, what if I want to go to Hawaii in March? I don't know. Right? I think we all want to go to Hawaii right now. Yeah. Anyways, so we meet once a month, and we do everything from next time we do this, you definitely need to come. So we actually went out to the spa at Northern Quest. Yes. And we had mimosas, and we had spa time, and we had brunch at Maslow's, and it was magical. And of course, you say mimosas and brunch and everyone. I know. Well, brunch is my favorite meal in the entire it's brilliant. History of meals. So, and we're going to have a sushi lunch sometime coming up. We've done Christmas exchanges twice now. Oh, that was a lot of fun. It's kind of like white elephant style, but you don't bring dog food in a box. It's nice good, gifts. Right. But that same kind of, you draw numbers and all that kind of thing. Those are so fun. But it's really, and I am, again, back to these women and how talented they are. I am just so incredibly impressed with the concentration of such talented ladies in this city. And I feel like maybe Spokane is one of those, because it makes me look elsewhere and kind of, do other cities have this? Is there this saturation in a good way? Maybe saturation isn't the right, concentration is probably a better word for it. But, is it that way everywhere, or is it just here in Spokane? And I honestly think we are, in some ways, an exception to that. There's something that brings out creatives are drawn here, and there's something that helps bring out the creativity in all of us. I mean, you think about how many authors are here, and how many artists are here.
It's just conducive. The environment here is just somehow conducive to that. Exactly. And I think too, like even back to like the restaurant, and I'm sure this plays in. I think people here, because I've had so many restaurant owners tell me this, you know, to start a restaurant in Seattle or start a restaurant in Portland, there's just such a high risk. Yeah. So they come to Spokane because it's still this somewhat undiscovered frontier, and it's still a risk, but it's not the risk like in those other places. Yes, and so I'm sure that like with these creative, it's the same thing of like, I mean, again, for me, that's my testimony. I was like, we'll just try this and see what happens. And it's just been a bullet train, just the way that it's taken off. Gather and Brunch and Gather and Savor, and which makes me so happy because these women, to see them pursuing what's in their heart, and that doesn't mean it's not hard. Oh, no my word. We talk about the hard, you know, kind of the messy middle of it all, right? Yes. You've probably seen that diagram. Yeah. And just the kind of, you know, the day in the life of an entrepreneur, and just like, I'm great. What do I even think I'm doing? You know, you've probably seen that great.
I want to die.
Yes. I'm a piece of, you know what? Yes. But then you really just, at the end of the day, those wins happen, whatever they are, and they really, you know, make it feel so worth it for you. Yeah, so
exactly. Well, we're going to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors.
Okay.
And come back and talk more about that. I want to hear the future, what you have going on, get into a little bit about personal life maybe.
Okay.
And some other fun stuff. So
sounds good.
We will be right back after a short message from our sponsors.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
I'm Jade Becker, and I'm a senior at Chewelah High School. I'm at STCU's Money Live event. In this scenario that we played today, I was a realtor. My spouse was a city worker. We had an 11-month-old child, and there was a lot of spending for that child, like diapers and formula, and had to buy toys and clothing. I'm very glad that I had this experience. It was super helpful. You need this to get far and ahead in life. I'm Jade Becker, and STCU is here for good.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.
Welcome back to She Says. I'm Stephanie Regalado with Sarah Carleton. Oh, we did not take a break, by the way.
Yeah, no, we just kept talking. Right. At the same speed.
Yeah. But what's your mission? Where are you going?
Where am I going?
What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, it's crazy that it's February now. Like, January's even a long month.
Someone posted this morning something like, we survived the year of January.
The year of January, yes.
Because it just feels this weird
It truly
space.
Is. Yes, yeah. Brian and I have been joking, my husband, that it felt like January 75th. Like, it's just, you know, like, anyways.
Right, yeah.
So I spent a lot of January, you know, just reflecting on last year.
Yes.
Looking forward to the new year. Mm-hmm. Went through a program that Mel Robbins, I don't know if you've heard of her, but if you haven't, we'll talk after, because she's incredible. Okay. She wrote the 5-second rule. Anyway, she did this 35-day program.
Okay, I know the 5-second rule.
Okay,
I know her now, yes.
Can we get her to come to Spokane, please?
Well, yes, okay.
I'm putting it on the interwebs. Mel Robbins. Please come to Spokane.
Gotta write it down.
Anyway, so she did this program called Mindset Reset, which I highly recommend.
Okay.
Ladies, get a hold of me. I'll send you the link. Yeah. It's a free program. It's 35 days.
Okay.
And really, you can do it any time of the year. But I felt like for January, it just felt, very appropriate, which is also what she felt. And so a lot of that has just been, just that, I guess, quieting the voices of, self-doubt and just the kind of the default mode, and just really setting yourself up for, what do you want to do, and just go after it, and thinking those positive, not just the positive thoughts, but like the science behind the visualization and all of that. I mean, she's just brilliant. She's actually on I want her to be my BFF. I have what I call a BFF fantasy list. She's on it. Brené Brown's on it. Of course, Princess Kate and Princess Megan. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so that's been just, I feel like I, kind of building the foundation for the new year. So I mean, there's a lot that, of course, is bouncing around inside my head. I'll continue to do, the restaurant visiting and promoting. I don't think we talked about this, but local is definitely my mission. A lot of the corporate chains, like, they don't need a little small town girl like me promoting them. They have huge budgets for marketing and all that. And so my heart is really just to get behind the local places that I can, fully put my stamp of approval on, and really highlight and promote them. So they'll be continuing to, do that. And I just, in that, because I don't actually get to say this very often. Actually, I could, I just don't. But I don't promote places that I don't feel. It's not like every place I go I promote. Right. If I go somewhere and I don't feel like, either for the food or the service or the vibe, whatever, that I can't put my personal stamp. I don't call myself a food critic. I don't have specific training. I kind of have a PhD in that because of how much I've eaten. But I don't call myself a food critic. And in a small town, especially like Spokane, if I go somewhere and it's not a good experience, I just don't talk about it.
That's
I don't
exactly
feel like
how I feel as well.
I don't feel like I'm in a place to give a negative response or review, because that can be very detrimental.
Well, and the magazine used to do restaurant reviews.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many years ago, when I came on 3 years ago as editor-in-chief, I wouldn't allow that.
You could put a kibosh on that?
Yes, because I just don't think it's also, I don't want to spread that kind of one person's experience at one time.
Yes, exactly.
I'd rather be more about positivity and promotion and thrusting people into the limelight than pointing fingers at anything. Because you can go back to the same place twice and have two different experiences. I think it's important for us as consumers to share our experiences politely and respectfully while we're there, because I think we're creating the community we want. We're creating the places, the businesses we want to visit, the restaurants we want to eat in. So I feel personal and just community responsibility.
Absolutely.
Social
That's
responsibility.
a good way to put it. Yes.
Yeah,
and if you and I were having a private conversation, maybe one of us would say, I went to this place and I'm not sure.
Exactly.
And that's totally different than on a public platform where really, again, these are local families who are either going to benefit or possibly, not from our words.
And they truly do want to do good work.
They do. And like you said, rather than spread the negativity, there's so many, and growing every week. I swear 3 new places open every week.
Yes.
To focus on and to promote.
Exactly.
So why even, take the time to do the negative? Again, and food critics, like, if you have that, if that's your schooling and you actually have the credentials for that.
Go ahead. Keep being fancy.
I just don't have the heart for it either, honestly. Yeah. But anyways, so we'll keep doing that. Definitely some foodie Instameets.
Yes, those are always so fun.
Yes, so definitely some of those. And again, I have some other ideas bouncing around inside my head. I don't quite want to say them yet.
Yes. How do women become involved with, how can they connect with Gather and Brunch? Yeah.
So again, there's the Facebook group like you're in. So you can search it on Facebook. And then, basically, it's inclusive. For some reason, the way Facebook is set up, you still have to request to join.
Right. Groups,
so you basically request and then I approve. I will say this is for women who are pursuing. This isn't a mom's group. While we have a lot of moms, this isn't just like, oh my gosh, I need to have a reason to get out of the house and take a shower and put on something besides my jammies. So this is specifically geared toward women who are working. maybe they haven't started their business yet, but it is in their mind of, okay, I want to do this, but I actually even kind of need some women around me to bolster me in this idea to do that. We have a lot of testimonies of women who that is literally what they say is, I had this idea to, start this bake shop, or I had this idea to become a food photographer, but I just really, it felt so scary and I felt so alone. And this group really helped me take that step and again, raise my hand and say yes. By the way, Tiffany Hahn, that's her phrase. Great podcast. She was the voice in my head.
What's her phrase?
Raise your hand, say yes. So it's all about basically get in the commitment zone.
Yes.
And then say yes, which, for an overthinker like myself is what I had to do.
Right.
So anyway, that's the best way again to get involved is you can either find it on Facebook, you can send me a DM on Gather and Savor, and we'll get you hooked up there. And again, we meet once a month. There's no schedule because I want my freedom. But we do have some fun things planned for this year. We might actually do a cocktail class and again, the sushi, and summertime we typically do picnics and so just the structure of when we get together, we there's some structure, but then also I like to give a lot of time for women to just visit.
Perfect.
And so we go around the room and we share our names and our Instagram handle and what we do. And then I actually have a guest book that everyone signs. And so I put those every month, I put the attendees of who came. Because a lot of times people will send me a message and say, who was that gal that was the interior designer that was sitting on the left side of the, whatever. And so I'll say, hey, you can, I usually know who it is, but and also I, shared it in the group. So,
nice.
Anyways, and I know what's on the horizon for Gather and Brunch. We're going to do some volunteering this year as a group. Okay. I'm just going to put a call out and say, how I need 10 ladies who would like to go to Second Harvest or Pleasant on the Bridge or, some other great local organizations. So
I love that.
Yeah. And then Gather and Savor, you know what Spokane needs and does not have yet?
Oh, good. I love to hear this.
Food tours.
Oh.
So, just putting that out there as a possibility.
What would a food tour look like?
What would it look like?
Yeah.
Well, it would be something that I would curate, obviously work with, I would love for it to be kind of a walking food tour. They do those in Seattle. In fact,
not necessarily progressive tour?
It probably would be progressive, but
yes.
in a geographical area.
I like that.
To where you could, get your drink at Bastango or something, and then go up to Cochinito, or I don't know.
That.
These are just places that are.
I love that. And Erin from Spokane Culinary Arts Guild just wrote a piece that's coming out in the magazine today about an off kind of idea of a progressive dinner for Valentine's Day, of places that aren't going to be where everyone thinks they should go.
Right.
Like the standards. They're just these little places that you can go to and you can do a progressive experience or just cuddle up in one of those. And
yes. And again, like you said, kind of off the grid of, that's the place you think of when you think Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I love that. I think that's fantastic.
So I don't know. I actually, when we were in Seattle last August, we were walking through, Pike Place Market, and we walked past the chowder place, and they had all these little cups of chowder. And so I'm thinking, okay, they're giving out samples. Oh, God. And I didn't actually go to grab it, but I was obviously interested in it. And the man said, I'm sorry, we're actually a food tour. So I was like, well, you can't tease me with the chowder.
Right.
Anyways, they happen so many other places. Why not? That's how the Foodie Instameets were born, is that they were, I was seeing them happen in Seattle, and I thought, golly, I want to be a part of that, but I don't want to have to drive all the way to Seattle. Oh, why don't I just start it here? It's kind of that vacuum. I can fill it. I know how to plan something. I love food. Exactly. I know some people.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know. The food tour thing, there's some other fun happenings, but
excellent.
Still not ready to have accountability on it yet.
Yes. So people need to follow along. Check you out on Instagram and Facebook.
And I have a website. It's all the same name. Yep, Gather and Savor.
I like it when it's
I know.
Same brand.
That was when I was choosing a new name. That was the other thing. And I figured, I love the name Gather and Savor, and I thought, golly, this is going to be taken. This is a great name.
Right.
How is it not taken?
There's so many signs that are Gather and Savor signs, and it's so good for you.
I know. My husband, we were at Hobby Lobby over the holidays, shopping, and Gather signs literally around every.
The Gather's the big one,
aisle.
Yes.
And he goes, "Did you start something?" And I said, I don't know that I started it, but I was definitely like on the front of the wave, you know. Definitely started some stuff in Spokane.
Good for you.
Anyways,
well, thanks for joining us today.
Yes. Thank you for having me. This is super fun. I'm going to talk your ear off.
I know. So that means it's good. So we'll want to see each other again.
Okay.
Hopefully our viewers will want to join in because you're doing such great things. Love the energy. Love the supportive atmosphere for women. Love women who have that creative, they feel it inside of them or they see a gap somewhere in their lives that they want to fill. But it's like, can I really do this? How can I rise up into this? How do you have a side hustle and build that until it can become your everything in your life? So there's just so many ways that I think that environment of women support and encourage and empower one another.
I agree.
And it's kind of like this percolating pot of just goodness to come.
Which is way better than the crab pot.
No, right.
Percolating pot over the crab pot.
Yes, I love it.
Yes.
And on that note, we are done.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks for tuning into She Says. We will see you next time.
Bye.
She Says is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content.